Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to Life According to Creed, the podcast. As always, I am your host, Creed Cole, and y'all can see that there's a guest that way. Yep, y'all can see that there's a guest over here to the right of me. But before I introduce my guest, I'll let my guest introduce himself. Um, Let me go ahead and do the things that I got to do in order for me to get paid, which is make sure that you go to lifeaccordingtocreed.org. That is the place where you can schedule your life coaching sessions. It's the place for all upcoming events that surround Life According to Creed. It's also the place for you to go and get these titles that I done gave to y'all. Y'all said y'all wanted journals. Y'all said y'all wanted something in writing. So that's what I did. Yeah, you got the interactive dating journal. This is not for if you try to leave your man. This is for after you already gone, if that's what you felt like you needed to do and what you do next. I'm a life coach, not a therapist. Like to remind y'all of that. And then don't laugh. And then Living the Life is also a part of the Life Work series. It was released on September 8th. Yep, September 8th. You can also get this one on Amazon. This is an interactive forgiveness journal. It is all self-paced, just like the 6 month calendar, 6 month organizer, and the scratchbook. So make sure that you go and check those out. Make sure that you're getting what you need for you. I had a couple of y'all come back and say, hit me in my inbox and be like, I ordered that and that's not what I needed. The description of what it is in the bio. It's in the bio for each one. Y'all know how to shop on Amazon. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my new friend, Mr. Victor DamnItBoy White.
How
Um,
y'all doing?
say I'm going to let him introduce himself because he's going to know his resume better than I do. All I know is what I seen on social media. So you go ahead.
So I'm Vic White, damn it boy for all the people who know me. Um, I'm from Florence, north side of Florence, all day long. I'm 42. I'm an electrician and I work at the paper mill, which is called West Rock. I'm also part of the Tangy Tea of Life with Veronica and Fatine every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. And we also do male table talk. With a bunch of guys, and hopefully one day we can have Miss Cree Cole as a guest. Maybe I'm gonna put her on the spot. I didn't say nothing before, but maybe one day. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be 2023. It can be 2024, 2025. But maybe one day she can um, bless us with some of her thoughts. So how's everybody doing?
Which he mentioned he is on the Tangy Tea of Life podcast that airs on Tuesday nights. That is how I came across Mr. Victor White and just knowing some people around the area. But that's when I found out. I was like, oh, okay. I watched some episodes. I'm like, I'm going, I think they know, I think he knows somebody I know. I'm going to ask whether or not he would come out to me. Because as y'all know, there's a lot of topics that we talk about where it's just me. And a lot of times people are listening to respond and not listening to understand. And because I'm a female, they automatically think that they always say, you talking about things for women, not knowing that I'm actually more impartial than people give me credit for if they actually listen to the content. Because you all know to follow me and watch me that I believe that a lot of these behaviors are human behaviors, not necessarily male and female behaviors. They just show up a little different. But I wanted Mr. White to come on because if you've been following me on social media the past couple of weeks, I have been, especially on TikTok, I have been stitching multiple videos of men describing masculinity versus independence in women, and I've been stitching them because I want for them to see that I stitched them and I want them to hear what I have to say about the situation because I happen to be a woman who defines herself as independent, has never been married. Um, and I don't think that my independence is the reason for that. But it seems as if it's a trend. And I wanted to get a different viewpoint from a male's perspective and not just my own since I will be a little slighted. I mean, I've never dated a woman, so I don't know how women do when they date. I've never, So as I tell, like I like to tell my male friends, you never dated none one of you, so you don't know how y'all act, how all y'all act. But um, the nice topic is who's the man, and I wanted to ask, say, starting off, because I have a very clear, I have a clear definition of what it means to be an independent woman. But from a male perspective, Mr. White, do you believe that there is a difference between a woman being independent and masculine? And if there is, what would you consider that to be?
I really do. So, like I said, I struggled with this question that you sent me. So, in my opinion, independence is thinking and acting on a situation, without outside influence. And masculinity, Webster defined it as anything that a man does, but in 2023, that line has been blurred now. So, in my opinion, it is defined as anything dealing with strength of force. So, a woman can, in my opinion, a woman can be independent and masculine, but it's not a turnoff in a sense. I think some guys are so caught up with, oh man, that's gay, or oh man, that's sweet, or that's sus, or this. But it's nothing wrong with your, if the woman wants a man, there's nothing wrong with your woman handling her business and don't need your help. But in a sense, I still need you to need me.
Right. Because I think a lot of times it gets misconstrued. But when we are more independent and able to take care of ourselves and do a lot of things and have achieved a lot of things, I feel like a lot of times I don't like using the word intimidating because I don't think that I come up and intimidate anybody. I don't personally think so. I don't want to say that it's intimidating for a man because I dated a man for 7 years that in no way, shape, or form, education wise and career wise, were we the same. Nothing about he totally different lifestyles that we were living before we got together. But I don't feel at any point was he ever intimidated by me because it was very clear to everybody who ever encountered us that he ran our house and I was, and I was the quote unquote what they call submissive, even though everything that great that he did, I played my role. Like I the same way I manage things at work, I quietly manage things at home. Now, just like at a job, the workers get the work done. Everybody knows that. But the manager's behind the scenes making sure everything organized.
So that whole intimidation thing, I can take that so many different ways. So I'm gonna try to touch on it just a tad bit.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to intimidation, um, you got to understand I may do something and expect a reaction out of you, and if you don't react the way I think you should, you may intimidate me, or
Mm-hmm.
I may feel intimidated. Um, and I'm gonna be transparent here. As a man, when we're together, if I do something to you and I don't get the reaction I think I should, then I'm questioning everything that is in me. So understand, like, there are guys out there that's been told one thing and they think that, okay, this is um this is I can carry this to each and every relationship. And
Right.
then you run into a woman that she's like, okay, you doing this, but it is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm questioning, was these women lying to me? Or is this woman just this? So now I feel like I have to conquer this in a sense of she has that power over me because I'm not getting the response that I want.
I can believe that because I've encountered in the time that I've been single, I've encountered men where I felt like just certain things they would do, they were trying to humble me. And I would be thinking, like, okay, when you met me, I was this vibrant person and all this stuff. Now we've dated a few months and you're saying things and you're doing things, and I'm like, but I thought that was, I'm only doing it because you've always accepted me as being this person. But I've actually said to me, like, I feel like you're trying to humble me, and I don't understand why you're doing that. I really don't. I don't understand that concept. I get what you're saying, but I don't understand the concept. Like, if you, I feel like you should date according to your comfort level. But men never do that. I have male friends that never do that. Like they shoot, men shoot for the stars. Like they shoot for the stars. Very rarely do they go, well, she, but I'll make her my, not I'll be with her. They might break down for other things, but when they go and they chase and they be aiming so high. And I'm like, why won't you just date somebody that makes you more comfortable? Like, why wouldn't you date the girl? Yeah, she got a friend, and you looking at her, and she look all the part, and you done talk to the little friend group, and everybody pretty much done dropped their stats and their resumes competing, even though they all there together, because you came to the table, because we do that, whether we believe we'll admit it or not. And yeah, that one got all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But that the other girl sitting beside her, she the one that seems the most relatable, but y'all won't talk to her.
So I want to take. I was thinking about answering this question one way, but then you presented it another way. So let me say this: going into it, men date around, and I can say myself, and I'm gonna use myself because I'm gonna be completely transparent on this podcast tonight versus any place else. We have to be sexually compatible. I need that whatever reaction that I want from you, I have to have that. So when I see guys jumping around like that, I'm like, he ain't happy because you can't be. Like, how can you honestly jump from bed to bed to bed to bed
Mm-hmm.
and you saying you satisfied from bed to bed to bed to bed? That's, in my opinion, that's impossible. Because once you get that satisfaction or that reaction that you're looking for, bro, you ain't going nowhere.
True.
Imagine the very first time you know you tasted some macaroni and cheese that your mama made. You like, mama, can you make this again? You're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna go to your aunt house or your grandmama house trying to taste like this is what I want. This is my favorite dish. So a lot of these guys, in my opinion, that's are players, you lacking in a certain department because you're not getting the reaction that you want from her. I'm not saying that y'all not whatever,
Right.
but the whatever reaction that you're looking for, you ain't got yet.
Because
And once, huh? Go ahead.
them and they will jump. I mean, they'll jump for that female, but that female that is presenting herself, that one that when you came over to the table was the first one to open up her mouth and be like, "What you need?" Is she masculine or is she just assertive? Is she just directing? If you don't like that, even if you are sexually attracted to her, if you don't like that, why pursue?
So I think when it comes to masculine or it comes to assertive, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. Me personally, I prefer a more conservative female. I don't want a woman who is the life of the party because she attracts attention that I don't ever want to feel like I'm competing with someone, but in a sense I want someone who is attractive that can attract people. So if I walk up to a table full of women and I say, well, how y'all ladies doing? The very first one that's gonna say something, I strike her off the list because that ain't what I want. I'm looking for the one that's not making eye contact. I'm looking for the one that's doing a thing, but she still can has a poise about her that is, you know, Yeah, I see you, but I ain't really that interested. I
Hmm.
don't want the weak one, but I want the one that's like, yeah, all right, yeah. It's like a challenge.
What? Because I feel like I give off conquer vibes. I feel like I give off conquer vibes. I feel like I humbling and conquer vibes. I have been in not relationships, because I don't really do relationships at this point in my life. Um, and I'm very clear. Like I'm like, oh, sweetie, if you're thinking about not calling me back for the next 3 days, you don't even have to do that. We don't even have to play that game. We don't
Really,
not at this point. We don't have to play that game. If that's not what you want, you tell me and you give me the opportunity to make the decision for myself whether or not I want to play along with you or if I want to do that elsewhere. Now at this point, I tell people very plainly, if the only thing that you're offering is some physical stuff, I'm been an adult for 24 years. I, I've been years. So if you don't like the way I talk, the way that I move, if you feel like I might, when you call me and I tell you that my tire blew out, you like, oh, what happened? And I say, I just took my time and took the bolts out and changed the tire. You like, you changed your own tire? Yes, I changed my own tire. My father prepped me just in case. He prepped me just in case. He showed me how to use stuff. And when I tell guys that I do stuff like that, or then I move a lot alone. I move a lot alone. I go out to eat by myself. I go out by myself if that's what I feel like doing. And I've had that be accused as being masculine energy because I'm willing to do those things, but I just don't feel like I should have to have a group of people around me or a group of girls in order to be considered feminine when I clearly look the part. I clearly look the part, but I don't know how they get being independent and confident and secure with yourself, confused with actual. I know chicks that are hard. Like I'm a tomboy, but I know chicks that are hard. They hard on a man. They hard on the kids. They hard on their parents. I got a girlfriend I go out with. Like dudes come and walk up. She be like, "Do it look like that kind of party?" She actually did that this when my bestie did that this weekend. She was like, "Do it look like that kind of party?" Because he came
really,
with a drink in his hand. What's up, y'all? Homecoming, blah, blah. She was like, do it look like that kind of party? I was like, he wasn't bad looking. She was like, he doing too much. Now I consider her masculine. Sometimes we together, people actually be like, they kind of look like, okay. I've seen dudes do like the size of like, is they together? Or like I've watched guys and then when they finally catch me by myself, they be like, hey, see your homegirl back there. Like, is that your homegirl? Is that your girl? Like, oh, that's my bestie. That's my best friend. She just like that. But like, I just don't see how men confuse the two. I don't see how they confuse being masculine and being independent. Because being boisterous or like you gave the definition, literally. The Webster Merriam definition of the word. So
yeah.
how do they get to the point where, or is it just a complaint to have a complaint?
Well, I think guys are so soft these days now that when you start, there's a fine line between assertive and aggressive. All
Mhm.
right. So a lot of these guys want someone based on how their mother treated their father. Because you know, we talked about it. If you compare me to my daddy, I'm soft. If you compare my daddy to my granddaddy, he's soft. So now coming into 2023, a lot of guys are insecure trying to date a 2023 female because the playing fields are even now. Well, they're not even, but they're starting to catch up. You know, okay, for a long time there was no women in my field, but
Mhm.
now I can look to my left and my right, and there's a woman standing there doing the same job that I'm doing, and in a sense, that's intimidating. because for the longest time it's always been a male driven, industry. But now you have women CEOs, you have women that's doing things, but in that title, in my opinion, you still have to have some form of femininity versus masculinity. You don't want nobody to run over you. So in that whole situation with you and your friend, was she being assertive or was she being aggressive?
Oh no, she's aggressive. No, no, let me be clear. She's aggressive. She's aggressive.
Okay.
Um, she has always been aggressive ever since we've been in school. She's always been that way. But she's the married one.
Exactly. So, and I'm glad you said that. And under that is a turn on. That is a real turn on to not to, in a sense, to conquer something like that. To say, yeah, I got to tame because I mean, I'm not. She can present this one thing, but her husband is still her husband. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I don't even know who you're talking about. But at the end of the day, that's still her husband.
And
You
her
know, she
I always tell her and her husband that if I was to get married, I don't want what they got, but I like the balance that they have simply because he's the one person, because even in her career, she has to be, and that's one of the things me and her have in common. In both of our careers, we have to be on 10 all day
do
long.
you have to be on 10 or you choose to
On
be?
10. Like, because adults who never listened just never listened. And especially like if you're not running the company, you have to deal with the people below you. You have to deal with everybody up above you. And both
That's
of
right.
us are in that mid-level area. So yes, I have to micromanage, even though I'm not the micromanager type. I tell them I really do, but I don't. Um, I have all of my staff works from home, and I don't ask them no questions. As long as you make your stuff for the week, I don't care if you was off the people phone for 2 hours. I don't care as long as you do what you're supposed to do. My bestie a little bit different. She's a micromanager for real, but we have to keep up with those people, and then we have another set of people that are constantly asking us questions. So I like the way that he's able to. It is not something she does. She gives herself the credit for it, but I've watched her husband in action. He has the ability to take her from where she's rolled home still on 10, because she's probably called me or called somebody else to talk about what happened at work. And she can walk into her house and he pays enough attention to her to be able, without her giving the whole day, to say, okay, he can talk her down.
Yeah.
And I think a
Yeah.
lot of men don't have that level of patience to do that either,
Well, she allows him
to bring
in
her.
her space to bring her down.
Mhm.
And sometimes in my opinion, in order for that to happen, I have to have that patience and I have to have that stamina to wear you down in order for you to allow you in your space. So seeing a woman, there are a lot of beautiful women out there, but there's always just that when you see somebody, you like, she turned me down, but I just can't stop at that. Not to be on those stalker type shit, but
Mhm.
going through with it. There are some women out there that do it for some men that I just can't leave you alone. No matter how many times you tell me no, until I get to say okay, I'm gonna just leave this alone. So sometimes there are a lot of assertive women and there's a lot of aggressive women out there. But when it's flipped, when a guy's being assertive or a guy's are being aggressive, when we pursuing y'all, it's looked at in such negative eyes that is crazy.
I can tell you that some of it, not all of it, some of it is genuine fear. I'm gonna tell you that some of it is just like
I
really
agree with you. I agree with you.
just because. being a female who moves a lot by herself and is noticeable most of the time. Like, where even when I'm with a group, you have those guys who are aggressive with pursuing you, like when you out and stuff like that with the internet, even over the internet. I get people that every 3 to 4 months come back with the same message, and I said they must be deleting their inbox and forgot that um, but and I don't date people that hit me in my inbox, so that I've been, where someone approached me inside of a space and I'm nice and I'm like, oh no, thank you. Like, let me get you a drink or whatever. Or they just buy a drink or something. And then I'm like, oh, you bought it. Thank you so much. And they make they play and I go, no, no, oh, well, no, I'm not really looking for nothing. I'm just out here chilling. And then I go to my car door. I'm like walking oblivious to my car and I'm hitting the button. And then as soon as I open up my car door, it's a dude standing at my car door with his arm propped up on the same dude. Hey, what's up? You really ain't gonna give me your number? That is, I on my podcast a couple weeks ago, I admitted that sometimes it depends on, what the guy looked like. I ain't gonna lie. If I was turned off all the way off, but if I just was a little, just didn't feel like being bothered, I might still entertain. But some guys are so aggressive with the way that they move until it's like, oh, I don't want no man that's aggressive. Like, I have friends that say like, oh, I don't want no man who's too aggressive. If he, calling me every day and looking to say on my page, on my social media and all that stuff. I have friends that say stuff like that. It tends to not bother me, but it's so scary being single sometimes and being a female because we have to think about whether or not we feel protected. If something does happen in a big old crowd of people, is anybody gonna protect us? Just on TikTok a couple weeks ago, a chick recorded herself getting hit with a brick.
She
Or
deserved that.
she said she got hit with a brick, and the social media went crazy about whether or not she got hit with the brick, to the point where they were so busy trying to disprove it that they just didn't hear from that conversation. Now, whether or not she got hit with a brick, I could care less. But what I do know is that I have been in situations where there have been groups of men around and I've been almost chased down and they looking like, and I'm looking around going like, looking for somebody to make eye contact with me, just to not to intervene, but to just be like, hey, Bo, hey, chill out, buddy. Where you going? Just enough of a distraction for me to get away. So I can
Mm.
see how it could happen. Like the way the men were acting, some of the men online were acting like it's not possible. Yes, it is possible. Like I've got accosted at the grocery store where the man done follow me all the way through the store, and then at the register, I'm thinking that he gonna take his stuff and go outside. I walk outside, he got his buggy with his stuff. He ain't even walk to his car because he was gonna talk to me, even though on the inside I said, "Oh no, I'm in a relationship." He didn't care. So I think that's why overly aggressive men why I guess tends to get looked at that way by some, just because we have to keep, yeah, we want somebody and we want to date and we want to get attention, but you can't say you want to get attention, because if you say you're female, you say you want to get attention, then men automatically go, okay, well, you wanted attention, so what, you want to pick what kind of attention you get now?
So you said a lot. To be honest with you, to combat that, it ain't enough females shooting a bunch of these people out here. It ain't enough female macing a bunch of these people out here. It ain't enough females calling the cops on these guys that these I call them predators. I look for cues. Um, Women, any woman that I've ever pursued, I look for cues. It's all about the body language. If you pay attention enough, you'll know if she is interested. And if you don't know that she's interested, just go with this. Just go with the she's not interested and play the safe role. You
Mhm.
know, just because some two people speak, Hey, how you doing? How you doing? That don't mean that she want to sleep with me and have my kids. And I think there's so many guys that's so fueled by sexual frustration that they think, oh man, she spoke. Like, bruh, let it ride. It's okay for a man and a woman to exchange pleasantries and keep it pushing. Like,
Mm,
I have friends to this day that will tell me, hey man, you seen that girl in the gas station? And I'm like, nah, I didn't. Well, you was just in there. Bro, I was in there to buy gas. I wasn't in there to look for, you know, I really feel like it'll happen. Like every woman that I've ever been with, I can tell you how we met.
mm.
I met one woman in the club and I really wasn't looking for her at the time. And this she'll tell you that I did it, but she was walking out the door. I had a bracelet on. As she was walking out the door, I was reaching for the door and my bracelet caught her shirt. And it got caught in the shirt. And it took us like 5 or 10 minutes to get my bracelet out of her shirt.
Mm.
And we just kind of went from there. And, we got engaged, even though we broke up. But, we got engaged and stuff. But that was just one of them fairy tale stories. But I think a lot of
But
men
not
out here,
and
huh?
not it being forced.
No, it wasn't. Nah, like it's too much. There's a lot of guys out here that's just forcing themselves on women and they shouldn't be.
Like the energy is very much, and I hate to say this because I'm so old. Like I really felt like, no, I felt like, now when when me and my ex broke up, and I said I wasn't gonna date anybody because I went like 2 years cold turkey. I ain't date nobody. I ain't date nobody. I had friends, but I didn't date. I didn't want to go nowhere. Want to go nowhere. I, I didn't want to be walked up on in public. I really didn't care about nobody's feelings. That was the lifestyle for about 2 years. And then I said, okay, well, I'm gonna start dating again. And it was like I dated one person, and then I don't know if like a beacon went out on my side of town and was like, I see her with a dude, I think dating people, because it was so much until I had to be like, okay, I'm clearly being too nice. I'm being too nice because I didn't want to turn nobody off. I didn't want to tell nobody just no, because I hadn't dated in a while. I don't know what I like no more. I have no clue what I like. What I liked a few years ago, I don't even think I like that no more. So I'm trying to be open. You start getting all the advice from all the people. Oh, I know you like them. I know you like them dark, but you can give a light skinned man a chance. So I'm going across the board. And I'm like, I done dated all these different types of people. And they all got the same type of attitude and the same energy. And I'm on the internet all the time because I'm always posting things because I have to. And they're saying everything that's on the internet, which means there's not an original thought flowing through any of these people's head. And old? Why are y'all so old and saying the same things that my son is saying to girls? My son is 22. Why are you saying the same things that my son tells me when he talks to me about women? And you 42 and he's 22. I have a problem with that.
So, but why though? Because your son is a man. He's 22 years old. He is a man.
If he believes that he can, that if he spends $100, sorry, Miss Jones, if you look at this Thursday, if he believes that if he spent $100, he's entitled to draws. At
Yes.
22, I give him all the pass in the world to feel that way. I tell him you still, you you might feel entitled, but you might not get them. So just be careful with that.
So let me
For a
explain.
40 something year old man to tell me that I literally had a guy tell me that going on a date, DATE meant draws at the end.
Oh, I gotta write that down. Good Lord, draws at the end.
That's what I 48-year-old man.
So understand. I need for women to understand this. So your son said, I don't know if he said it. Did he say spending 100?
Yeah, he was like that was the budget for the date, and if he spent over $100, it
So
definitely something needed to be because my me and my son are very open. So he was
yeah.
like, "Mom, she need to be."
So I've never met your son, but let me say that, and you know we've never met. Um, but understand that. Think how long it takes your son to make it to 100. I don't know how much he makes on the hour, but put in perspective your son's time and what he does just to get to $100, and to think how fast the person he's sitting across the table from is going to spend that 100. So whatever it is, so don't you don't have to put it in you don't have to put his business out there. So me at 42, you know, it may take me a little quicker to get that 100 before your child, but my time is more important. Your son has the your son has, 50, 60, 70, 80 years in front of him.
to
He
work.
does. I'm 42. You know, I got 20, maybe 30, maybe 40 years in front of me. Understand that I don't have that time to play with you. So for you to sit here and try to play with my time and my money, we ain't about to do that. So in a sense, I think your son is on the right track, because for him to get 100 and for a woman to spend his 100 freely like that, it's like you got to give me something in return. What else? At 22, what else do you have to offer? At 22.
Now, because I do numbers for a living, I completely get the analogy. Don't get me wrong, I completely get the analogy and how, like, literally, I was adding up in my head how many days it take for him to make $100. So I understand that, but I don't know. Like I told him that I got it and I understood why he didn't want to spend but so much money taking somebody out. I told him that I understood why, but I also told him that you may have looked at her and went, "Oh my God, she this. Ooh, I got to have her. I got to have her." And then when you approached her, she might have said to herself, "Well, he cute. He was nice when he said it." So when you go on this date, her opinion of you has not changed, and it's not gonna escalate because you bought her something to eat.
But it may.
But
It
it
may.
because
It may.
I at my big age, I had guys be like, "Well, where you want to? Okay, well, let's go. We gonna go wherever you want to go." I'm not a complicated person when it comes to stuff like that. I'm just not, because I eat like I'm a foodie. There's no place in this area I have not eaten, and probably by myself, because that's
Mm.
what I do. I like food. I go out every Thursday and eat. So it's like, if your plate is that plate, you're gonna lose me because I do food, and I'm well, we're doing all our little talking. I'm gonna let you know, like, yeah, I do. I like go out to eat I try different restaurants. I ride to the beach. I go do this. I'm telling you this. So if you thinking that plate, I don't care how much that plate is, because if I go and buy myself a $250 steak, sir, you getting me a $40 one from Outback ain't gonna guarantee you like, I'm gonna think it's nice that you did it. I'm gonna appreciate the fact that you did it, but I need for you not to base what happens after the date on just simply the fact that you paid for my food.
I feel you.
Because if that's the
But
case, you just gave me the $40 before we went on the date. You could have offered me the $40 before the meal. Like, I, and I'm terrible for stuff, but I just don't like it. Like, it's almost like I feel like when men do that, they playing in my face. If it was gonna
so
be simple, if you wanted it to be that simple, then you should have asked. This might have been your time. This might have been your day.
so I'm gonna tell you this. Every guy keeps um he keeps something back in the cut. I got a restaurant that I know 50 to 75% of the women around here ain't been to yet.
I ain't
And
gonna.
it ain't that far from here. But if I take you there, I already know what's going to happen once we leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, every guy has their thing.
I don't think some of them had a thing. I don't. Some of them don't have a thing. I,
Well,
or either.
they,
But I've been told I pick whack. I've been told I give really whack people chances. So I
so
get it bad.
understand every guy has his thing, but his thing may not work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a thing. Like, I have a restaurant that I'm like, oh, this is a surefire thing. I'm batting 1,000 at this restaurant. But I may meet someone that's be like, I ain't impressed. But I haven't met that person yet. You see what I mean?
So it's gonna
So
hurt.
exactly. But I don't I don't put myself I'm not out there like that. I don't take everybody out. I don't take I don't my dates, like my first dates will never be at a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? I don't do first dates at restaurants because I need to get a sense on how I need to interact with you. So it's going to be someplace public.
Mhm.
So I know socially how you act so I can accurately say where can I take you. So if you're sitting here and you're so socially awkward, I know I can't take you to a lounge or a club or something like that.
Mhm.
We might have to do, a little small Starbucks here and there, a little small eatery, something a little bit like that. But if, you're so, reserved with me, either I need to leave you alone or we need to go to someplace very public so you feel more comfortable.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
like I said, I pick up on social cues like that.
but a lot of guys they don't pick up on social cues. I I have a girlfriend that's all about the body language. I mean, like she read it in a book. She's all about the body language. She does things with her eyes. She does things with her hair. Like when I see it, because I've seen it so much, and I'll be like, I'll look around and be like, so who looking at you? Because you done put that hair behind your ear, and you done because she got long pretty hair. So the hair is a show, and a lot of guys don't it almost feels like they don't catch on to that. They
Yeah,
don't they don't see it, or like anybody who actually has a conversation with me and they be like, well, what do you do or what have you done? I'm like, oh well, I'm a basketball coach. I do this, I do that. Taking me somewhere real quiet, real quiet. I'm used to spending every Tuesday and Friday in gymnasiums with
yeah.
people and screaming. On every other day with teenagers who are all over the place all day. So I'm telling you I'm active. I'm pretty much telling you I'm active by telling you I work with kids. So since
Yeah.
I work with kids, we gonna go, but you probably gonna bore me unless you got some really good jokes. Cause I like comedians. Unless you got because I'm gonna be like, well, next time can we go to the bowling alley? We go out again. You want to go to such and such? Because I would suggest something just because I don't wanna. I don't want to be bored. I don't want to feel bored. And if I'm not gonna talk to somebody who does not like minded. Like if I
Yeah.
know go places and then you tell me I don't like going nowhere. I like to be in my house. I'm like, oh, how this gonna work, sweet? I know you like me and all, but how this gonna work?
So, um, two things. One thing with the social cues, I look at how a woman crosses her legs. In my opinion, where she crosses them and how she crosses them lets me know how she's feeling about the date. Number two, when you saying that, you want to be bowling alley, all that. Um, Me personally, I would take you to somewhere private to try to captivate your attention. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't hold your attention, then I understand that we may not be
May not
compatible.
be available for.
And there's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong
Mm.
with that. You have to take people out of the element just to see if we can mesh. So with a very social and interactive person, to put them in a space, you have to entertain them.
You have to entertain them.
You
Like
got to. You
you can't
got to.
be sitting there quiet. Like I've been in places that be like, oh, well, we're gonna go to such and such. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I get dressed and I just look, I fit the part or where we go and all of that. And I'm steady sitting and I'm saying, I'm not gonna Crystal, don't pick up your phone. Man, put your phone away. Put your phone all the way away. That way you won't pick it up. I'm like, because if you're gonna bring me in, you're gonna have to end. I don't want nobody, turning cartwheels or nothing, but you're gonna have to entertain me. You're gonna have to keep my attention
Yeah.
because you don't get my mind, all that other stuff you got, how you smell and all that. I don't care nothing. I don't care nothing about that.
So you don't care about cologne.
I care about cologne, but I also care. I mean, if I smell Dove or Dial soap on you, I appreciate it. Like, I mean, everybody can't go and buy $200 cologne. I'm so as long as you, I can tell, I can tell by your skin whether or not you showered in the past 2 days, whether or not that's new lotion that you put on or
2 days.
while you're not ashy, or if it's because you haven't washed in 2 days and you're not ashy. There's a difference. Trust me, there's a difference. Um, but like if you can't get my head, I don't care what outfit you got on because I don't know designers anyway. Um, I don't care what kind of cologne. I don't care the designer you got on. I don't care whether or not you got on Jordans or some running shoes. Because I happen to know that Jordans are not the greatest basketball shoe ever created. I was born in the '80s, so I know better. Um, I don't care nothing about your cologne, how much you spent on it. I buy expensive perfume too. Good for you. It's whether or not you're gonna get my attention. My ex got my attention being the exact opposite of me. To
Wow.
people who knew us separately, when we got together, they were like, how y'all together? And we didn't know each other prior to, we knew the same people, but we didn't know each other. So their whole thing was, Crystal, he don't, but he don't do, he don't, but he got my mind. He kept me thinking, not even in a bad way, but he intrigued me. And since he was able to intrigue me and keep me interested, even though the things that he was doing, people would have considered were way lower than the things that I was trying to achieve and all of that. And the fact that he was so passionate about what he wanted to do and executing those things and was physically executing them, he didn't have to have a whole bunch of money. He didn't have he all he had to be able to do was take my thing where I was like, he could take care of himself.
So it was physical. You say he was physically executing the things.
Yeah,
So
like
it was
he
mainly physical.
said he wanted to do and what he explained to me he was doing to do those things, then I could see him actually doing those things. Like if he said, I want a lawn service, the next conversation we have and he talking, he done went and did this, that, and the third. The next time he come and pick me up, he might come pick me up 30 minutes early before we go out to eat because he got to go run by and go do this right here. There's all that's tied into what he told me he was gonna do. He had random fun facts about absolutely nothing. Random fun. I'm an Aquarius. My mind is always going. If you can give me random facts about the world, the person I talk to now sometimes I don't know their job. I don't know what they do at their job, but I kind of do now because they always talk about it. We can have intelligent conversations because I listen. So I listened to this man talk about his job for 8 months. I've never been in that place, nothing like that. But I listen to talk about his job every day for 8 months. But it was so entertaining. His work days were so entertaining, even the meetings. Like I was like, it made me want to talk to him every day. And that making me want to talk to him every day made me want to be in his presence more often. And once I wanted to be in his presence, I mean, we grown. So
So what was more intriguing, him or his job?
The fact that he could explain it to me and could make the fact that he could relay it to me and explain it to me and make me and I could understand, even though I had never been in the building, had never did anything like that before in my life. He could make, like, I was intrigued by the fact that he was able to show me something or educate me on something that
Okay.
I already know.
Okay. So it was the explanation or his the way he explained things, I
The way
guess.
he was able to explain things and make them interesting. Like, he literally did what every teacher that I had in elementary school did to a grown person.
He broke it down, huh?
He was able to break it down, and I was so intrigued by his everyday activities. Until, like I said, that made me want to be in his space. But these dudes be so dry, and they think that because they smell good and they look good, because I done dated the spectrum. I done dated short and fat. I done dated tall and cut up. I kind
But
of
don't that wear off? Don't that wear off after a while? I mean, yeah, my explanation and where I explain things good, but what if I'm lacking in all these other areas?
but see that
Eventually that's gonna wear off, ain't it?
thing. I've never been I've never been the type to, and maybe because I watched my mother and father interact with each other for the past 44 years. Like, my mom and dad are together, been married, never been apart, whatever. And I've never wanted someone to, I always felt like whoever I was with, whatever they did not have, even if I didn't know how, even if I didn't have it, I know how to get it. Or I can learn how to get it. And if
Yeah.
I can learn how to get it, I can get it to you. Like, that was always my mindset. And it still is. Like, a lot of people, after I dated my ex, they were like, "You probably won't never date nobody who ain't got no money no more." And I was like, "Why wouldn't I?
It-
Why wouldn't I?"
yeah.
Because
You
I
got that one.
I don't need him to be able to take care. I don't need him to be able to have to take care of me. I just need for him to already be able to take care of himself. I don't want to take care of nobody. So if you need, I need you to be able to take care of yourself and maintain yourself. I don't need to be able to have to come over there and pay your light bill. That I ain't doing. But if you have less, or you want, or there's something that you want, I've always been in the mindset I can help you get it, because I watched a woman move every 5 years, restart a home every 5 years for 20 something years of her life with two children and her husband. So that's the mindset that's what I saw, and I've seen that works. And until I see it not work, that'll be my goal. Like, that's gonna be my goal. I've never seen anything in it. I've seen other people have trash relationships, men that do this, men that do that. I don't want to date nobody because I don't want to have to tell nobody where I'm going, what I'm doing, and all that kind of stuff. I don't want that kind of control system in my life. But if I did, it wouldn't be a hard transition to do it, even though I'm independent and I take care of myself and I do things for myself. It wouldn't be hard.
I get what you're saying. Coming into it, um, me being single and not really looking for a relationship. If I ran across a woman who was completely um independent, to me that's a turn off. Um, because you don't need me for anything. I understand you said, you change tires and you do this and you do that and you got a lot of things going for you. But in a sense, I need you to need me. And there's no way we can work if I feel like you don't need me for anything. I shouldn't say anything. I feel like if you are not going to come to me for everything, let me say that everything.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna say something, then I'm gonna ask you a question. One thing that I found out about from one of my guy friends and his very independent mate. She does she is extremely independent. She's able to do all types of things and all that kind of stuff. Would it make you comfortable if she was able to do all those things, but she came to you? Would it be enough if she just came to you with it versus actually needing you to do it?
So this is gonna sound really messed up when I say it. I don't want you to let me know that you even know how to do it. I need for you to need me, just like you need me to need you. So, um, I love a woman who is completely emotional. So, if I'm feeling a certain type of way, how would you feel if I dealt with all my emotions myself or went to somebody else? You may or may not like that. When
Mm.
it came to physical things, yes, you probably can change your tire, or in a sense, you probably can call Firestone and say, "Hey," or the tow truck, "Come pick my car up and um take my car to Firestone to get some new tires or whatever." But what I need for you to do is call me and say, "Baby, I got a flat tire. You know what? Don't worry about it. Let me call this tow truck. Let me get this here, and let me
Let,
handle this."
let you do it, even though she could have made that same phone call.
Exactly, because in a sense, you're letting me lead you to whatever it is that we're our final goal. I got my dignity, and you can sit back and say, "My man just handled this."
So it's more of a pride and dignity thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Men's egos are huge.
And then actual necessity for it. Because I think I told you, because when I was in my relationship, I knew what my ex had and what my ex didn't have. I mean, we lived in a house together. So, but we had like two separate bank accounts. One account that was his, one that was mine, and then one that we put money in to pay bills with. That's how we operated. And I knew he may not have, because he done did this, did that, went and hung out, went and play cards, whatever he did. He probably ain't got that. I would give him my card before we even went in the restaurant. If he told me, like, hey, but just because I never wanted to make him feel uncomfortable, in that moment when the check come.
Yeah.
Now being single is a little bit different. I don't never know what the check gonna do. I don't never know how that's gonna go. Um, because no guy that I've been out with has handled it the same way. I told you I had one that we had a whole conversation about the fact that we were just gonna go and hang out, and he didn't have to worry about the bill. I wasn't gonna worry about the bill, whatever. We were just gonna govern ourselves accordingly. But then once we governed ourselves accordingly, then he says he wanted to pay. But that's not what you told me. I'm very clear when I meet people and I start liking them or whatever, and we say we're gonna hang out, that I follow directions. I'm very, very clear about it. Like, I follow directions now, so don't tell me something you don't mean. Because I'm gonna act off of what you tell me. If you tell me that we going Dutch, if I say, well, what you want to do, you want to go, and you like, yeah, that's gonna be better. That'll work. No pressure, no. Okay, so when we get there, ma'am, because waitresses, they, depending on the waitress, sometimes they won't even look at the damn man at the table, because they don't know
Wow.
woman gonna act. Sometimes they won't even look at. They be like, and you go, ma'am, how you want to do checking out? And I said, two checks, because we had already talked about it, bro.
So I'm not even Dutch. I don't even know where Dutch at or what language is Dutch. So we not even going Dutch. But I need for you, like the previous conversation, I need for you to respect me when it comes to what you ordering. Understand that what you order is gonna send me social cues on what's gonna transpire after this check is resolved. Now, it sounds very sexist that, oh, I can't just, get what I want and you pay for it. No, because understand that this money that has been accumulated to pay for this meal was off my blood, sweat, and tears at this job, just for us to however long it took me to make this money. You just ran this up that fast. You just said, I want, the surf and turf. Surf and turf is what? 185, 225, depending on market price. So you just basically ran up something that fast, just that fast. You said surf and turf. Okay, we gonna surf in the back of this truck and we gonna turf in his bedroom. And I
Okay,
understand.
well, what if you take the girl out? What if you take the girl out that you take her to that restaurant where she can get $200 surf and turf, but she on looking on the menu trying to find chicken fingers because she don't want to have to necessarily. She want to be able. She don't want to be able to have to feel like she got to give something at the end of
And
the
I
day.
and I get that, but you got to understand that if you come out here, you if you order chicken fingers with me, I'm gonna treat you like a child. So I'm gonna take your childish butt home. But
Oh, God.
order a meal that is appropriate for what we doing. If we friends, get you a salad, get you, something reasonable. But if you trying to be my girlfriend on a first date and you order, surf and turf, that's what we doing. We surfing and turfing.
You got a
Cause
girlfriend. You got to do have girlfriend responsibilities at the end of the night if you
oh,
order.
we go together until that tab paid off. We go together. Oh yeah, we doing all that. We holding. Matter of fact, we holding hands on the way out the door. Don't hold my hand and watch away. You'll walk home. I mean, and I need for people to understand that you cannot spend people's money at your leisure because you don't know what it took for these people to get that money. You know, um, even we could talk about the rich. Kanye, Jay-Z. These guys are, you know, I don't want to call them geniuses, but we don't know in the verses that they put out there what actually happened for to inspire them to write these verses.
Right.
So they're getting paid off of their lifelong experiences. Some of them, are doing that. So for me to play with this man money, I ain't gonna do that, and a woman shouldn't do that either.
You think it's a lot of women who strive for that, like they go out and accept invitations just for that purpose?
I'm gonna say this: no, I don't think there's a lot because I have maybe ran across maybe two in my dating career, maybe one or two that I felt like, okay, you just out here to get you something, and I cut them off. But you, for every bad apple, you can't say it spoils the whole bunch. That's no. I think there are some women out there that want out there. There's some women out there that like surf and turf, and if the guy can't afford it, they'll tell him like, man, I'll buy my own. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you, man. That's cool that you want your surf and turf, but I don't want you because we're not there yet for me to give you that meal if it don't go past this. If you
Right.
want surf and turf that bad, swing the block back and come back tomorrow and buy it. But while me and you together, go and get that chicken Alfredo with the chicken with the sweet tea, and we gonna peace be out. That's all I need for you to get. Chicken Alfredo with the sweet tea.
Chicken.
Um, yeah, that's it. Yeah, you. I mean, you want a salad? You want a little side salad or something like that. But other than that, that's about that's the max.
And see, and I've had the opposite where I've gone out. I think it was like the third date. I went out with somebody and they were like, "You talk about you like food." I'm like, "Yeah, I like food." Like, well, every time we go somewhere, I don't think you be ordering right. Like, what you mean? You just said such and such, so you mean to tell me you be going to such and such, but you want it? I would say chicken Alfredo because noodles is one of my go-to meals on a day. That's one of my go-tos. Something with some pasta because I can eat it, I cannot eat it. It ain't that big a deal. It ain't that expensive. And I have not decided. I'm one of the people. I don't decide to the last minute. I don't know. I'm eating that food, even if I am eating the $200 meal. I don't know. I still don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do until I sitting there and I go, okay, so what we doing? I'm saying to myself, so what we doing? Is we going?
Yeah,
But I might go off of the $40 meal. I might go off the $40 meal, but just I admit the I told you that DATE made me the acronym that man gave me a whole different outlook on how to date, what to do on a date. I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't asking for nothing extra. I ain't even asking for a cocktail. If you I'm gonna drink sweet tea and water. I ain't even asking for a cocktail because I'm too nervous at this point to even be like, can I get a drink? Because they might be like, oh, you getting drinks too? Oh, I done signed up for some extracurriculars that I ain't even.
I mean, third, in my opinion, third date. By the time we get to third date, something should have transpired. I'm not saying sex. That's not what I'm saying.
Just something.
Something sort of should have transpired in order for me to know where this is going. You know what I'm saying? Um, there has to be some form of acceptance to say, not to say we go together, but to I have to know, okay, either she like me or she don't by the third
Mhm.
date. So now by the third or fourth date, I'm trying to separate myself from all the stragglers. And that's one of my famous lines. Okay, you need to start cutting some of these stragglers off. What are you talking about? When she say that, I know. Okay, we're gonna play this game. You know exactly what I'm talking about. These stragglers. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now by the third or fourth date, I'm separating myself. Okay, now I'm applying pressure. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, the exotic dates start coming out. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? The huh?
A lot of your male counterparts don't get no nookie and stuff like that because they don't know when to apply pressure. They don't know they following some handbook and I don't know where that handbook is published. It's at online, but they like out my homeboy used to say, don't don't shoot at me. Don't hand me the gun. Just say, what your boy say? Don't shoot at me and then hand me the gun. Just shoot back at you. Like you came for me. I
Yeah,
was minding my own business.
I was minding my own business.
You
Yep,
came for me.
yep,
Now you got me. I made a
yep.
basketball analogy. I was like, it's just like the team that's winning ain't
Hmm.
got to apply no pressure. If I'm perfectly happy in my own skin, in my own space, I'm already winning.
Yep.
So yeah, you came down there and you made a shot, but now you done ran back and got on defense, but you down by 10. I need you to man up. I need you to man up. I mean, I'm basketball coach, but that is what I think of in my head when a dude approaches me, asks me out, we go out, and now you're waiting on me to do something. I am doing nothing. I am doing nothing. I'm not, I'm gonna be present. I'm gonna be available. If you call me, text me, I'm gonna hit you right back. But as far as me applying pressure back to you, like or going out of because you came for me.
Exactly.
I was not bothering you. And I feel the same way if I approach somebody. If I approach a man, I don't expect for him to jump up and then go all of a sudden he's trying to do all this stuff and all that because he was minding his own business. And he might have just saw, I mean, on first glance, he might have been like, oh, okay, then she's just bold enough to she's bold enough to approach me. Okay. So I'm gonna say something about going to go do something, or do you want to go hang out or whatever. But I'm not gonna then gonna turn around and be like, oh well, I ain't calling him today. Why? Why? That person was minding their own business. Now after a while, I feel like he should feel some type of way about it and be like, hey, can we do whatever?
Yeah.
But that beginning part, I'm gonna give him that leeway because I know what I did. The last person I started dating, I literally was having a conversation with one man, and he like jumped into the conversation. I ain't know him from a can of paint. told me, was telling me off about the conversation I was having with the other man. And they were like, well, Crystal, who'd you go? Well, Crystal, who you gave phone numbers to? The one that interrupted.
Mm.
Came with the now I felt like that was he applied pressure. He was like, yeah, you standing between both of us. And I know he started talking to you first. But we gonna see who. But a lot of them don't do that. They don't, they literally will shoot you, hand you the gun, and wait for you to shoot their ass back. I'm not.
So I'm gonna give you a little page out of my playbook. Dating is strategic. It has to be. You have to pick your times on where you date someone. See, some guys go out there and they just be, I'm a holler at her. But even if she gives you the time of day, then now what? So in order for me to get for you to reciprocate something back to me, I have to apply pressure at the right times. So it's what, September going into October.
Right.
To me, I wouldn't try to date a woman till like the 1st of October. And it's just me. So we sitting here dating, we doing our thing. All right, Thanksgiving coming up. All right. I'm not asking for no invite, but I know you got access to a bunch of food. So if you don't offer me a plate or at least try
True.
to feed me, then
True.
I already know where I stand with you.
True.
All right. After Thanksgiving, I'm not dating anybody if I'm single because I don't want to feel obligated, and you shouldn't feel obligated to buy me anything. And we going to especially when we going into New Year's, you can't bring New Year's in with everybody.
No.
Try to stay away from Valentine's Day for first dates and stuff like that. But
Try
going into it, huh?
try to just avoid it altogether.
Try to avoid it. But one of the holidays that's always been a success for me is trying to find a woman right after Mother's Day. And the reason I say that because sometimes y'all are a little emotional and Father's Day's behind it. So what you do is you'll pour into us if we appear to be a good father. There's a lot of guys out there
I,
that
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. Because I can say for me, being single for so long, I was a single mom. I mean, I dated my ex, but we didn't get married or anything. So I was a single mother very young. And the older I got, when I did meet guys who had kids, because at first I wouldn't even date dudes with kids, and I had one because I didn't want their baby mama drama. I didn't want to deal with their baby mama because I was an unproblematic baby mama. My baby daddy, and his wife love each other, so I don't have them. But I didn't want the drama, and when I did start dating dudes with kids, even if it appeared like now once you know what I mean, you tell me you get your kid and you do this and you do that and you the great daddy and all that. I'm gonna weigh it out and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna weigh it out and I'm gonna see because see my son is with me all the time. So when my son ain't with my daddy, with his daddy, and you tell me you want to see me, and I tell you I got my son, I'm like, oh, why don't you get little June Jones and bring little June Jones since JD here? Since this is my baby here. If you don't go get your or tell me, or at least tell me you called your child's mama, if you don't bring it up no more, or you like, oh nah, and I'm telling you, I got my kid. I, but we will give more patience and time to a dad that's being a dad, and all of us
listen,
being a daddy.
listen. I got a 4 month old, right?
Listen,
And and I'm
I I,
telling you,
I don't know how you because mine 22. I would never.
so my oldest is 17 and my youngest is 4 months. But when I tell you, um, people, I shouldn't say people, women be like, "Oh, he's this and that," and I'm like, I didn't do that with my older kids. and I'm damn sure not gonna do this with him. Now that I'm older,
Mm-hmm.
keep your distance. I don't have the time to date anybody. You know what I'm saying? My time is with because my older three is by one woman, and then I got my 4 month old. You
Mm-hmm.
know, even like I say, even though I'm single, so I don't have the time to date anybody. I
Yeah.
mean, we can screw around, you know, whatever. But if you think right now that you coming around my 4 month old, that just ain't gonna happen. I'm not even gonna play with you like that. You know, I don't. It's no disrespect,
Mm-hmm.
but my son is at an impressionable age. Maybe, you know, in a couple years from now, I may be ready to be serious and do that because then again, I may not bring you around my you know my baby. You may meet the other three,
Mm-hmm.
but you may not meet him. So
Cause I had the most current person I'm dating, they were like, "You tell me you have a son." I'm like, yeah. I come to see you, he don't never be. I was like, oh, he has an apartment.
yeah,
Like, I'm like, he doesn't. You're like, you don't want me to meet your son? And I'm thinking to myself, sir, I don't be wanting to say it's not that kind of party because I feel like that's not nice to say. But no matter how old my son gets, unless I feel like you're someone who can be a part of our lives, ours, even with
yeah,
him, I'm not gonna not date somebody because my son don't like them. But there's a difference between not just not liking somebody and just being completely against it. And I'm
yeah,
not somebody that my son can at least get along with, dap up, be respectful to. If he, no matter how old he get, because I'm not gonna deal with the smoke. I'm not gonna deal with that type of stress in my world. Like I'm just not. Because my
yeah.
son still young, like he's age wise legally an adult.
Hmm.
But he still has things where he still needs my assistance. He
Yeah,
still guidance and he still needs my time. Now, I think it's great that he has his own address. I appreciate I did something right because he wanted to do that. But as far as anything else, nah, I'm not. They're like, your son don't even be at your house. Why I can't come to your house? Or your son is grown. Or if they don't know he don't live with me. Your son grown. Why you don't? So I mean, you think that's better? It would have been better for me to have my 22-year-old son down the hall than me to have a 2-year-old down the hall. See, a 2-year-old, I might have would have did it. 22, he knows,
no.
and even if he knows what I'm doing, I don't want him to know what I'm doing. If that makes sense,
So me and this is
because you got
I'm
7
not.
boy,
So I have my own space. I don't like going to a woman's space because I can't control the narrative. You know
right?
what I'm saying? I can't. So I'd rather you come here all the time than to me go to you. Because as a man, you know, I'm single. Ain't nobody coming over here like that. My kids ain't gonna pop up. And even if they do, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was at your house and your son popped up, there's a whole discussion.
And I don't think they understand that that's not the same thing. It's
It's
not
not. That's
single
mama.
kids popping up and single mama kids popping up is too, especially if
It's
I
different.
always very particular because I had a son about how I presented myself. Even if my son knew that I dated people, but I didn't have people all up and around our house. If once I got older and I started talking to people with kids, and if they were comfortable with it, because my son like keep being around other kids, I'd be like, if you comfortable with it, all his 20 of his friends over here, you might as well bring yours over here to be a part of the group. A little boys I got in the house, once he got older. But as far as me just outside of the relationship I was in where I lived with my ex, before that and after that, I saw no reason to be bringing, because I seen the effects of people I dated,
Hmm.
people I dated, and them talking about their experiences with some of their mothers, and them seeing their mothers date, and how uncomfortable that made them feel, even though these are now 30 something, grown men. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. And then some people I'd be like, would you have liked your mama having somebody come over? Like I tell people stuff like that now. Would you have liked it if you went to your mama house and they in your mama living room? No, my mama living room. Okay, it's the same energy over here. Like I'm still a mama. I'm gonna be a mama till I die. And I don't baby mine, and I don't have to baby mine, but we're gonna respect the fact that he's here and it is what it is. But I'm gonna wrap up because I think I'm being summoned. I think I'm being summoned. What? Any final thoughts for my folks as far as labeling labeling and how they can better determine the difference so they don't miss out or know to run away.
Um, I think we talked about social cues. I think as men, you have to pick up. Sometimes women give mixed emotions. It's better, in my opinion, to walk away and leave with your dignity, other than be embarrassed in front of a bunch of people. Um, Pay attention. It's 2023. There's a lot of um, you can't do the same things you could in 2013.
Mm.
So realize that everyone out here is, I ain't gonna say they all for themselves, but people are watching. So I just want people to just, I don't want to talk over myself. I just want guys just to go out here and just actively date women, but don't be overly aggressive when you're doing it. That's what I want to say.
Okay. And for my ladies, I know that we don't think that because we think that because we have a lot going on and we're able to be independent and take care of ourselves. That I mean, we heard our mothers and aunts and people in our parents' circle, mother circle say that one homegirl she got that ain't never been married going, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. Because I can do this, that, and the third for myself. But one thing that I can say is even though I don't long for a relationship, I do recognize the difference, taking the fact that I've had one and no longer have one. The one
Mm.
of the male presence. Outside of a father, a brother, a cousin, or an uncle. There's a totally different energy that comes from being in a romantic relationship. And it's not a bad thing if you are a boss. I hate when females say it, but they a boss chick or whatever. Like, it's not a bad thing to allow someone else to have input and influence on your life and how you move and the choices that you make. Because I can tell you, yeah, you can pray to God to be your independent self, and it's you and the Lord, like Tyler on that Tyler Perry play. She's like, it's just me and Jesus. I get it. But who's to say that God hasn't designed somebody for you to give you that same word if you allow that person into that space to be in that position to give it to you. So be independent, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself and to take care of the people that you love, but also be mindful of the fact that we cannot do it alone. We cannot, we can survive alone, but the whole circumference of being happy and and even though we're complete, being fulfilled, you can't be out here. We can't be out here telling dudes they ain't crap because they won't take us out to eat. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. I ain't telling you to go out there and get a broke man, but be up by all means. You can't you can't survive on bread. I'm just gonna say that. You can't survive on bread alone. Y'all be watching me. Y'all already know what I mean by bread alone. You can't survive on bread alone. But thank you so much, Victor, for doing this with me tonight.
I loved it. I loved it.
This is a great way to meet new people, y'all. This is a great way to meet new people. Just, get on social media, get your platform, and then you can just reach out to any stranger you want to reach out to and help them. I mean, if you got a little socially awkward, this the way. Don't jump in the inbox. Send something responsible and full with information. Because now Victor is my friend. I ain't never met Victor in person. And I'm going to tell people Victor is my friend. I'm going to call old Mr. Tony and be like, hey. So now Vic my friend too.
Oh yeah, Southside.
Thank you. Saying y'all good night. Make sure that you tune in on Thursday night at 7:30. It's at 7:30 because I don't want nobody talking about no Thursday night football. You don't care about what happened in the beginning of that game anyway. I ain't like just like I ain't care tonight about Monday night football. Because if the Cowboys ain't on, I really don't care. But y'all be
I'm
blessed.
out.